Hello, welcome back to my kitchen. Look behind me, all that fall goodness back there. Now, if you were like me, you were brought up being told, hey, you can't eat those. Those are gourds, they will make you sick, and they probably taste horrible. Were they right? In most cases, no, unfortunately. But, back when people were pretty unsure what was safe to eat and what wasn't, they weren't taking chances, which is pretty understandable. So let's turn this camera around and just take a peek what's back there. These are all so pretty. Now, some of them I grew in my own garden, but some of them came from the grocery store. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is in the fall, we all go to the orchard or just a pumpkin patch, whatever, the big farms, and we buy pumpkins. And a lot of times we think we can't eat those. And they're pretty darn expensive, to be honest. So to buy them and just throw them away at the end of the season always seemed like a waste to me. So I took some time and did some research, took some pictures, looked in the Google pans, and found out that most of these, actually, all of them are edible. Even the ugly, warty ones, the really oddly shaped ones, and the teeny tiny baby pumpkin ones that everybody thinks that would be gross inside. And these ones here came out of my garden, and they grew, and they were not what they were supposed to be. So, oh no, are they going to be toxic? Most likely not. Even the ones that turned green, they just got into the sunlight, and it's a lot like a green potato. You peel the skin off and the inside is good. So it's not a bad thing. It's not ideal, but it's just like, that's why they tell you to store your squash, in a shady place or in a darker place. So all of these on here are edible. These ones over here are actually like a zucchini or a yellow squash because I planted some, I can't remember what they're called. They're shaped like a star. And I planted, patty pan squash. I planted those, and this is what grew instead. Well, they must have crossed. Well, no, I've read that that's what happens. And this was a patty pan squash, and it almost got there. You can't see it on the camera because it flattens and smooths it out, but there are ridges, but it's more like a pear shape. And these ones are called sweet dumplings, and they're supposed to be very, very sweet, dark orange flesh inside. I had 5 of them, but 3 of them did not make it, and I just had to get rid of one today because I picked it up and it was soft. But these are nice and solid. So what I thought I would do is look up each one, and we can crack them open together and see what they look like inside, and I'll tell you what my intention is with each one. All right, let's start with these 2 squashes here. So I really like the green color on these. This one I already knew was a Hubbard, and I'm pretty sure it's a mini Hubbard because it's only a few pounds, like maybe 2-3 pounds, and it said that the regular green Hubbard is like between 10 and 25 pounds. So I'm pretty sure that's a mini green Hubbard. And the facts on the mini green Hubbard are: popular choice for cooking, roasting, and stuffing. It has thick green, dark, bumpy skin and a sweet golden yellow flesh. Preferred for, I already said that, cooking, roasting, and stuffing. Okay, and then this one here, this one is hard to say, but I will do my best, and I will put the name down in the description with the correct spelling, and maybe you can figure it out, or you can look up the seeds if you want. Marina di Chiagua, I think. That is my best try at a pronunciation. Like I said, it'll be down in the description box. Thick, dense, green skin covering a yellow-orange flesh that is sweet and nutty and dry. So we're going to cut into them. I have a bowl here that I'm going to use to collect the seeds. I am going to keep some seeds from these. I know some people don't, but I love to plant the seeds from the squashes I buy at the store. You get some really interesting things. Most of the time they come out exactly like the ones you wanted them to. Once in a while you get a cool looking cross, so that's cool. And also, eating crossed pumpkins or squashes has a really bad name. People are like, no, they could be toxic or whatever, but most varieties are some kind of a cross. They've just been propagated over years. You know, a person got a really cool, yummy tasting cross and just purposefully made that a product. So let's go ahead. I've already washed them, and I think I want to cut into the Hubbard. Oh, I need to grab a spoon. I have a serrated knife just because the serrated knife tends to work a little better on those thick squash skins. This Hubbard, with it not sitting flat, was a little scary. It's really not that hard to cut into, and the serrated knife is definitely making easy work of it. Okay, I probably should have put something down, but I did not. I'm going to cut that stem off. There we go. And now go down the other side. Yeah, this is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be to cut into. All right. Alrighty, yeah, that is pretty orange, pretty golden color, just like it said. Oh, those are some really nice big seeds. Those are going to be good for roasting. Okay, we're going to save all the seeds. All I'm going to do is clean this out real quick, and then I'll be back to cut into the other one. All right, let's do the small green pumpkin. I'm not going to try and pronounce the name. And I am putting these on lined baking sheets, and I'm going to roast them at 350 for about an hour, or until they're fully soft. Just want to pop this stem off real fast. I don't know if it's going to be fast, but first. Okay. Trying to go under it, but that isn't really. Oh, there we go. It's wiggling. There. No, I thought I could just pop it off. There we go. All right, so this one laying flat should be a lot easier. Oh yeah, definitely use the serrated knife. It is a lot easier to bust into these guys. The skin on the bottom is a little different. It's kind of cool. Sort of like the turban squash, but much smaller. I wanted to get some turban squash, but unfortunately, I didn't grab one when I seen one, and now they're all sold out. Which, I mean, I'm not really surprised. They're pretty cool looking squash. Oh boy, that was not straight at all. Okay. There we go. Oh, that is so cool. I was just looking at the seeds from the Golden Hubbard, and these seeds, they're both very different from, like, say, jack-o'-lantern pumpkin seeds. I don't know. They're just much, I don't know how to explain it. Let me get one. These were out of the sugar pumpkins that the kids, I don't know where the angle is, the best angle is here. So, I mean, they're just different. These are not shiny at all. These are very shiny. These are pretty white. It's just, they're very different. But I did look it up, and you can roast these just like most other squashes. I don't think I've come across a squash that you can't roast the seeds. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to roast some, and we're going to save some for planting. The cavity's pretty small, but I chose the smaller one. I didn't want a ton of huge squashes. I have one up, and then you have to fit them in one at a time, and that can take a long time. I'm not going to try and store these squash because being at the grocery store in that big box, they got banged up pretty good. And especially on this blue Hubbard, there's a big boo-boo on the top. And it's scabbed over, but I know that's not going to store for a long time. As a matter of fact, when I was bringing it home and it was rolling around in our SUV, the scab cracked open a little bit and leaked a little bit. So, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and roast them. Because the cavity is smaller on this one, it's a lot harder to clean out. With that blue Hubbard being flat like it was on the inside, it was a lot easier. So I'm going to clean this out and roast them, and I'll come back when they're finished cooking. So here is the small green pumpkin all roasted up. It looks a little stringier than it's not a candy roaster. The green Hubbard, that's what it is. But it tastes really good. I just took a little bite, and it's so sweet, and it's very, very nutty. I like that a lot. And here is the mini green Hubbard, and this one is really sweet, like almost like when you've sweetened pumpkin, getting it ready for like a baked good or something. It's really good, and I didn't do anything to it. So I'm going to scoop these out, and I'm going to puree them both. And I'm not sure if these ones are going to go for dehydrated pumpkin or canned pumpkin. I can say that the green Hubbard is a lot drier than the small green pumpkin. So they both turned out great. Alrighty, for these last 3 pumpkins, remember, I'm just Googling these things, and I had to really dig to get this orange one. I couldn't really find the name at first, but you can do the same thing when you're in the grocery store. Use your reverse image search and see if you can find out the information you need, so that way you don't accidentally get something that you shouldn't eat. Although every pumpkin that was in the box came back as good to eat, so that's just a little bit of information. If you're going to a farm, ask the farmer. A lot of times they'll tell you the information and facts if they know, and that way you can know what you're getting. So this first one here, this is the yellow and orange striped pumpkin. Make it so you can see it really well. It's really pretty and really cute for your front porch. But it says that this is called a flame or a blaze pumpkin because of the yellow and orange stripes. It's known for its pretty coloring, but is also good for eating with a sweet dark orange flesh, suitable for baking, roasting, or any other pumpkin goodies. Alrighty, so that's that one, the flame pumpkin. The next one is, okay, I'm gonna, Lakota Maxina squash is what the search brought up for me. It's an heirloom. It said this very old variety produces fruits that are either green and orange or fully orange with fine orange nutty flesh suitable for cooking, baking, roasting, and all of your pumpkin goodies. And then this peanut pumpkin here, this was a big pain in the butt. Finally, I come across the right wordage. That's the thing, when you don't know what keywords to use, it can be really hard. And even the image search, it took about 4 times putting the image search in before it brought something up that got me to where I needed to go. So like I said, it's called a peanut pumpkin, known for its light orange bumpy skin with warts in the shape of peanuts, with smooth orange flesh, good for roasting, baking, and all of the ways you use your other pumpkins. So now we'll look inside. Something I do suggest you not do what I did and just scoop all the seeds into one bowl if you're planning on taking them out for growing, because I want seeds from each one of these things. The first 2, I scooped them into the bowl. Thankfully, there was just a little bit of a color variation, and I think I got seeds for both. But if you want to be sure, scoop the seeds into separate bowls and make sure you know which bowl is which. So let's cut into the first one. I'm not sure which one I'm going to cut into first. Maybe I'll do the big one because I think I'm going to have to roast that by itself, because this thing is humongous. I mean, for my oven. It's not like, but I mean, it's big. It's bigger than it seems in the camera. And it might even need 2 roasting pans. Alrighty, let's cut into this thing. I'm a little nervous, not going to lie, how this cutting through these warts is going to be. Oh, it's not bad. It's not any worse than any of the others. With this serrated knife, it's not too bad. The other thing that I have forgotten to mention is that all of these pumpkins are only edible if you do not cut into them or poke into them, carve them when they're fully intact. And you also want to make sure that you don't set them in a real sunny hot spot, because I doubt these pumpkins are cured, and setting them in a really hot spot is going to cause them to rot. And oh, there's a little ant on there. Of course, they were outside, so that's not really that surprising. But anyways, like I was saying, they're only edible if you do that, because once you cut into them, it's like opening up a jar of sauce and then leaving it on the counter and then going to eat it in a week. That would not be a good idea, right? So the same thing goes for the pumpkins. Once you cut into them, you've basically opened their protection, and any kind of bacteria can get in there. And also, I scrubbed the outside of this pumpkin very, very well with a scrub brush and a little bit of the vegetable cleaner, just to make sure that everything was going to be good. So this is what it looks like inside. It looks pretty much like any other pumpkin I've cut into. You can see, the difference between where the seeds are and the part that we're going to actually turn into something. So I'm going to go ahead and gut this thing and get it on a baking sheet and get it in the oven, and then we'll cut into the other 2. Alrighty, next is the flame or the blaze pumpkin. Oh boy, the skin is very hard. So this one might be a lot harder to cut into, but that's okay. It's why we got the saw. And something else that I found was quite interesting is that most of these pumpkins are not long storage pumpkins. So just so you know that, if you're going to grow them again, they're not for long storage. Which I guess makes sense, right? Because the farmers are just growing them for people to decorate with. And of course, that's a quick season. Boy, this is a tough one. I might just go ahead and cut this off camera so I don't cut myself and come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so this one is interesting. Look how empty these cavities are. The last one I noticed had a lot of flesh in the inside, but not a lot of seeds. And this one has barely any guts and not a lot of seeds at all. So, and it was a son of a gun to get into. So, definitely gave me a little workout. Hopefully the green one isn't quite so hard. That was the hardest out of all of them. Oh yeah, look at that. There's not much seeds in here at all. The nice thing is there's way more seeds than there are strings. So that's not usually the case, which is, I like that. And don't worry about getting all those strings out, because if you're pureeing it, if you're going to roast it and puree it like I am. Boy, I didn't realize that how hard of a word that is to say on camera without tripping on it. If you're just going to puree it, it's not a big deal because they taste the same, and they're going to, it's not stringy once it's cooked. It's only stringy when it's raw. Alright, that was really easy. Alright, I'm going to get the other side cleaned out and get the seeds out and move on to the next one. Alrighty, this is the last of the pumpkins. And I tested this one and it's not nearly as tough as that yellow one, thankfully. I bet you that yellow one would be a much longer storage pumpkin because that skin was tough. And I put a towel down this time to protect my wood table. I know somebody will yell at me for that, but that's okay. The first time when I wasn't protecting it. Alrighty. Oh, this one is really dark and pretty inside. Oh yeah, look at that. That's pretty. Now this one, these last few haven't had nearly as many seeds as, say, a carving pumpkin. So that's cool. This one definitely has a lot more strings inside than the yellow one did. So I'm going to go ahead and gut this, and we're going to roast them, and then we'll look at them all. And I'm putting them in plastic bags before I puree them, and I'm labeling them so we can look at what it looks like after it's been cooked down and just see, you know. So far the first two were the least watery winter squash I've ever made. So in the first two, let me see my notes. They were the Marina di Chiaga. There we go. Marina di Chiaga squash, which was the little green pumpkin, and then the green Hubbard squash, which was more like pear-ish shaped. So those two, they were definitely very sweet. I tasted them and not watery. So that's where we're at right now.